Hi everyone, welcome to our first podcast episode on Ivy Off Script, where we are sharing the unconventional stories of Harvard students' journeys to Harvard and their experience here so far. So our first guest today is Alyssa.
Yes, welcome. I'm so excited.
I'm so hyped. Okay, so just to start off, I would love for you to tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Oh gosh, yeah. Yes, I'm Alyssa. Thanks for the introduction. I'm a sophomore here at the college. I'm studying integrative biology and history of science. I'm originally mostly from Texas, but I live in Connecticut now. I have 3 older siblings. Danced growing up. That's like mainly, big part of who I am.
Okay. And can you give us an idea of who you were going into high school?
Oh gosh. Yeah, going into high school, I had just moved back to Texas. I moved to San Antonio from Florida. So it was like a bit different just because I really didn't know anyone. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of like rough, but also I knew that a bunch of middle schools were coming together for high school. So like that kind of lessened the burden a little bit because I knew like people were going to be meeting no matter what. The kind of person I was... Gosh, I think I wasn't really being myself or, like, able to fully be myself because I was kind of shy and just, like, trying to make friends. I joined the dance team freshman year of high school, so that really helped me kind of make friends. It was COVID, so we were, like, wearing masks and everything, so that was kind of hard because you weren't able to really form, like, a super good connection. Mm-hmm. So really my friends were from dance team and kind of stayed mostly that way throughout high school, yeah. Like, my best friends were from dance team.
That's awesome. And could you tell us a little more about, starting from high school, being that person, to your journey to Harvard? What was your journey like to Harvard?
Yeah. I never thought I would be here. I think every student can say that. I originally wanted to go to Baylor in Waco, Texas. That was, like, dream school since probably 4th, 5th grade. Don't know why I was called to Baylor, but I just really, really, really wanted to go. So that's where, like, my sights were super set on. I think I had, like, a dream of an Ivy. I really wanted to go to Brown. Again, don't know why I was, like, drawn to Brown. I think I had watched Gossip Girl. It was like,
haven't we all?
Cool. It's awesome. I applied to Brown, and then I actually had a fee waiver for college applications just because I had hip surgeries for junior year and senior year of high school, so I was able to qualify for like the unforeseen circumstances within Common App to kind of get a fee waiver. So because of that, I was like, I'm just gonna apply to all 20 colleges that Common App allows me to. Yeah. And because a lot of the Brown supplementals were very similar to other Ivies, I applied to Harvard and Yale. And, like, low-key as a joke, like, with my friends, I was like, I'm gonna do it, whatever, very last minute. And I think it's because of that, because there wasn't pressure behind it, I was able to just be myself, and it got me here. Yeah.
What did it look like being yourself in those college applications? Because I also know for Harvard, they had some pretty random questions about, like, your roommate stuff.
That was super fun. I think those were, like, my favorite questions because even USC has questions kind of like that, like very random one-off questions that they want you to kind of be just, like, silly in almost to just see who you are as a person. But, like, USC was also kind of a dream school of mine, so I was trying to put on a front of, like, what I thought a USC student should be. But with Harvard, like, the roommate questions, I wasn't like, I'm going to be like this and this and this, or, like, I want these 3 cool, like, Harvard student qualities in a roommate. No, I think it was, like, 3 things your roommate should know about you or something like that. And I literally started off with, like, I'm obsessed with Cat in the Hat. That's my favorite movie. And so I was like, I'm super obsessed with it, like, weird movie, but it's true. And I was just, like, joking. Like, the fact that I was being able to, like, laugh while I was writing this was really fun, and I hadn't had that whenever I was applying to other colleges.
And kind of getting into Harvard, what were your expectations coming to Harvard, and then how did they come true or no? Yeah, I feel like I didn't really have expectations academically or anything like that. It more stemmed from fears of, like, expectations with students, and I think that kind of, like, prestige that Harvard has, and knowing that, like, I don't
come from like an extremely wealthy New York family, then that is kind of like what like the Harvard student like is to outsiders. And so like that's what I thought coming in here too. But no, like I mean Harvard students literally come from all over and like all sorts of backgrounds, which I think is absolutely amazing. So yeah, that fear was definitely like put to a stop whenever I first got here.
Yeah, it seemed like when you were coming into Harvard, did you know anyone who went to these top tier schools that you were looking up to at all during that process?
Yeah, no one at all. I'm first gen, so like my parents didn't go to college. My mom went to college for a bit, but didn't end up graduating with a degree. And then my siblings didn't go to college. So even like within the family, I didn't really know anyone at any school, let alone like a top 20 or an Ivy.
Or like literally Harvard.
Yeah, like literally Harvard. So I didn't really know anyone even from my school. I went to a school like sophomore through senior year that was new. So it had opened up only sophomore, freshman, my first year at it. So I was the first graduating class. So I was the first to go to Harvard from this school. And then within the district, we only had one other kid go to Harvard. So we like became friends through that. So that was nice knowing someone, but no one that I had known to kind of get me through the process or anything.
And I guess, can you talk more about your siblings and like their journeys throughout high school compared to yours? Yeah,
I have 3 older siblings, and they're like a good chunk older than me. So I have a sister and then 2 brothers, and it's 10, 8, 6 years older than me. So they're all 2, 2, 2, and then it's like me.
You're like, hey.
Awesome. Yeah, so I got to see a lot of their like high school journeys, some of their middle school journeys. And I think that really kind of pushed me academically, but it also set me up to know that college just isn't for everyone. And so I think having both of those perspectives was really good because I was able to kind of like look at what they were doing and how they kind of immediately went into the workforce after school, and that like works for so many people, and that's amazing for so many people because that's what they want to do. But I knew that like wasn't for me, so I kind of would be able to imagine myself kind of following that path. But I just knew I wanted to go to school. And does that answer the question of it?
Yeah.
And is there any factor or activity that you did in high school that you think, oh, this got me into Harvard?
No, nothing crazy. I mean, like I did dance team. I did some leadership stuff. I think being at a school that was new really helped with that leadership stuff because I was able to just be like the founder of chapters of clubs that kind of already existed. So it was just easy to make a chapter. It was easy to kind of take on leadership positions and hold them for a really long time because you weren't competing against the seniority of like juniors and seniors who came before you. You were kind of able to take that position as a sophomore and hold on to it. So that was really nice. I think I was senior class president my senior year, so I spoke a lot to that. And I've found that a good amount of Harvard students had like some kind of leadership position really high in their school, whether it was like senior class president or student body president. So that I think could have been really helpful. I think they look for a lot of like leadership positions. Yeah,
you described yourself as a high achieving, like average high school student. Can you unpack that a little more?
Yeah, I think with high achieving, like I always wanted to achieve more. I always like strive to achieve more, and I was in like the high AP classes and things like that, and I always kind of pushed myself academically. But within those high AP classes, I was just, like, average. And, like, we all kind of were at the same level. Like, I wasn't doing the most within the AP classes. So I think if I were to, like, zoom out and just look at my class as a whole, like my senior class or whatever, I was high achieving within those. I mean, I was, like, ranked very well. But if I were to, like, zoom in within the AP classes I took and within the AP students I surrounded myself, like, so many of them were just, like, absolutely amazing and so intelligent, but like I compare myself to them and I was like I'm just kind of average. So sometimes like I wonder, not so much anymore, more so at the beginning of my Harvard experience of like, why am I even here? Like how?
And when you came to Harvard, do you think, like, other people were similar in that regard? Like, did you expect them to be super, super smart and the classes to be really hard? And, like, how did that fit with your expectations?
Yeah, no, especially, like, the whole super smart thing. Like, I expected everyone to come in with, like, oh, they've done this, or they've authored this paper, or so many things. And there are people who have. Like, that kind of, like, expectation isn't necessarily 100% false. Like, there's definitely students I run into who've, like, they've done insane things. But for the majority, we're just, like, normal people. So, yeah, I think everyone kind of feels that way of, like, oh, no, I also expected everyone to be super smart. And I also expected everyone to kind of judge me for asking for help or going to office hours or something like that. But, yeah, everyone's just super normal, which I think is great.
Are there moments here that make you realize, like, oh, wait, I'm at Harvard? Because I feel like it's so easy as Harvard students. Like, I remember when I got in, it was, like, this incredible, like, actually the highest moment of my life so far. I'll admit that. But it's, like, but then you get here, and it's, like, you're living day to day, and, like, you get stressed out. It's not like you're thinking, oh, but I'm a Harvard student, you know? Like, are there moments that make you, like, step back and realize, oh, wait, like, I'm here?
Yeah, for sure. Wait, I also agree. Like, the fact that it's Harvard is insane. But even whenever I got in, I already kind of, like, lessened the whole, like, oh, it's Harvard thing, because people would be like, congrats, like, it's Harvard. And my English teacher, like, she is amazing, and she is, like, a huge driving force in my life. But she, even now, will be like, yeah, you're at Harvard. And I'm like, I mean, it's just a school. Like, I think that also stems from, like, just not liking attention, but whatever. But, yeah, I mean, academically, sometimes we have insane speakers who come to speak, and I'm like, wow, like, this is crazy. The only way we could get them here is to be like, oh, we're Harvard College, whatever. Or, yeah, even when, like, the speakers post about it. Like, I went to Alandria's talk, Alandria from Love Island. I went to her talk from Women in Business.
Wait, I was there, too.
Really?
Yeah. Was it during the finals week last semester?
I saw you post about it.
No
Wait,
way.
okay.
I went to her talk, and, like, it was great, and it was insane. But then also, like, yeah, I just felt like, okay, I'm in a lecture hall listening to her talk. That's super cool. But then seeing her post about it later, about, like, I am so grateful to have the opportunity to speak at Harvard. Like, this is a dream of mine. I'm like, whoa, that's kind of crazy. Or even just the tourists. Like, day to day, I'm, like, walking to class. Yeah, another class. Like, I'm following this schedule that just keeps repeating. But then there's this huge, like, huddle of tourists, like, taking pictures at the statue or like, going on tours. And you just see them, and you're like, wow, they've traveled far. Especially when you hear accents, that's when I'm kind of like, wow. Like, they traveled for this.
And when you go back home, do people view you differently because you go to Harvard, or how do your friends react?
Yeah. I'm, like, not too sure. I've never really asked them how they view that. I mean, I moved to Connecticut this past summer, so I haven't seen my friends in a while. But I know whenever I first went home for Thanksgiving break or summer for freshman year, it was just kind of different, like, the conversations we would have. And I think, like, it almost felt as though they weren't as, like, open to having conversations. I'm not sure if it's just, if they, like, subconsciously view me different, or, like, view me as, like, elite or, like, prestigious now, which I don't want them to view me that way, because I feel like I haven't really changed. If anything, I just feel like maybe I've kind of grown in maturity a little bit. But yeah, I'm not sure if they view me differently, but there definitely, like, is some moments where, like, someone will say something or make a joke that I probably would have laughed at in high school, but now I'm just kind of like, that's not really funny. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. So are those jokes typically, like, things that people might find offensive that you've matured out of, where you're like, that's
I definitely think so, yeah, especially, like, being from Texas. We know the kind of state Texas is.
Right, compared to the East Coast.
Especially compared to the East Coast. And so I think I mean, our freshman year was during the election, and so that, like, really kind of heightened everyone's political, like, understanding and political intelligence. And so that definitely, like, translated to me. I'm not in the, like, political sector at all. Like, I do not really understand the government. I wish I understood it more. But just being in the East Coast and also in the Harvard environment where everyone is so involved in politics really kind of enlightened me to be a little bit more involved. And now actually being able to understand what's going on in the world. Yeah, like I'll hear kind of offensive jokes sometimes. I'm like, all right, guys, like that's not hitting the way that you think it's supposed to hit. Yeah.
So now I know that you're on the pre-med track.
Yes.
How do you feel about that decision? Did it ever waver when you entered Harvard?
Or throughout Harvard?
Yeah. It, like, never fully, but there was definitely thoughts. Especially, I think Harvard is really big on, like, government, econ, like, those kind of concentrations. There's just, like, a huge herd of people who come here for that. And so it's also big within, like, the extracurricular space. And so whenever I first got to Harvard, like, no kind of thought about not being pre-med was there until I started comping clubs, and a lot of the clubs you comp are more towards, like, the business, the finance kind of worlds.
What does it mean to comp a club?
Yeah, comping
there's so much Harvard language that I'll even back home I'll be like, guys, the D hall. They're like, what is that?
What is a D hall? Yeah,
like,
comping. Yeah, literally. Comping. Yeah, it's basically, I mean, y'all know, but it's short for, like, completion or competition. So some clubs have a completion comp, and you just have to, like, go to events or whatever. So I'm comping women in business right now, actually. Very excited.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it's a completion comp. So you just go to the events throughout the semester, and then you're in the club. And then others have a competition comp, and, like, competition, yes, it's just, like, applications and interviews and stuff like that, and those are usually pretty cutthroat, I would say. And a lot of freshmen go through that, their freshman fall and their freshman spring, especially the competition ones. Yeah, so I did that my freshman fall for a consulting club on campus, and I got in, and it was really fun, and it like has been great, and I've, like, learned so much through it. But I think being in that sector with all the other kids in the club are mostly kind of pre-finance, pre-business, pre-consulting, just kind of hearing how their life is almost planned out. Like, yeah, there's 4 years of undergrad, and then you do these internships in the summer, you get a job, you're making 6 figures your first year. I'm like, wow, that sounds great.
You're like,
that sounds really cool. Yeah, and so, like, there were definitely times where I was like, oh my gosh, I should just do that. Especially, like, after my first tests and things like that for chem, I was like, wow, like, maybe I should just switch my concentration.
Was chem this semester?
Chem was, like, Gen Chem was freshman year. Yeah, Gen Chem and some bio. But yeah, I was definitely kind of thinking then, like, oh, maybe I should, like, switch. But never fully. I would always kind of talk myself out of it, because I think for me, like, medicine is a hard track, and it's a track you have to devote a lot of your life's time to. But if I think about my future and I think about waking up every day to go to a job, I wouldn't be happy in a finance job. Like, that's just not for me. And some people are really happy with it, and they would hate their life every day if they woke up having to go work in a hospital, but that's the life I want.
And I know you described the comp process as, like, kind of cutthroat. Would you describe Harvard overall as cutthroat?
I think it depends where you kind of put yourself. I've found, like, a really good group of friends and a really good group of, like, pre-med friends that are very uplifting and very supportive. But there's people within every group. Like, even, like, I mean, I'm not in, like, the, again, like, finance space, but I know that there's people there who are extremely competitive and who won't really help you. And yeah, even in the pre-med space, there's people who are extremely competitive and, like, will not help you. And they're, like, going all the time. And so you can kind of spot those people and choose your, like, to kind of distance yourself from them. And I always choose to kind of distance myself from them, because I don't want that kind of competitive atmosphere around me. I'd rather be supported and support other people.
Do you feel like your friend group has evolved throughout your time at Harvard? I know it's, like, this is your 4th semester, so it's only been, like, not even 2 years, but a lot happens.
Yeah, I think it's grown, if anything. I don't think anyone's been, like, cut out. You're done. Yeah. But I remember, because, like, yeah, freshman fall, like, September, when school started, we were friends.
You were the first. Okay, fun fact, Alyssa and I, to the viewer above, Alyssa was the first person I met at Harvard. Like, we were part of the same pre-orientation program called FIRE first year retreat experience for first generation and or low income students. And I remember that the same day we got there was like the first day of pre-orientation, and we were lining up to go to Target for like a Target run.
Yeah.
Turns out my car declined. Alyssa stepped up to try to help me. Anyways, it was kind of embarrassing. But yeah. No, but that's crazy looking back that like we were day ones.
Literally. Yeah. And then like our friend Christian, he's from the same town.
He's actually coming on this week.
Really?
Yeah, so he'll be episode 2 guys.
Yes. Yeah, we're from the same town in Texas, and so we kind of knew each other a little bit before. And then like my roommate and people from my freshman year entryway, just kind of we all became friends. And I remember like that happened obviously like sometime in September, kind of the early weeks, and people would just be like, yeah, I mean like the friends you have now will not be your friends after Thanksgiving break. Like all the upperclassmen would kind of say that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I was kind of like, they're like, there's no way. Like, what? And I mean, I guess we like beat the odds or whatever because we're still friends and we're blockmates. And yeah, so I think if anything, our friend group has kind of expanded. And I'm like friends with so many people. But yeah, and then I think here, like in high school, you have those class friends or like the hallway friends that you never really hang out with outside of school, but you see them and you talk and like you guys are like really chill. There's people like that here too. Like I have my office hour friends, and they're great. Like I'll see them at office hours, I'll say what's up. I can see them at like a party or something and I'll say hey, but yeah.
Nice. Would you describe Harvard as collaborative, like in your classes generally?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, especially again like the people I kind of associate myself with are super collaborative and are there to help and like make sure that you also are like on a good note. I hope it remains that way with everything going on, but yeah.
Oh wait, with everything going on, talk about that.
Yes.
Yeah, what are your opinions?
What does that mean? what is going on? First, I guess like introduce what's
going on at
Harvard.
Yes, well to the viewer, I guess. There's this grade cap proposal, and they want to cap A's at 20% for each class, with like 4 allotted extra A's for kind of smaller classes to use, I guess. I really don't know what the thinking is.
There's like some wiggle room, like they're trying to be like creative about it. Like if it's this size, then we're gonna allow 4 more students. Like okay.
Or the whole like trading A's. I'm like what?
Yeah,
but they proposed this kind of grade inflation
remedy
last semester, and it was honestly like looking back, the last semester one is I think better than this one because it was like they would introduce A pluses, which like okay whatever, and then they
like no one really cares that much. Really like if you want to get that cookie, like go ahead.
Yeah, or like putting the median grade of the class on your transcript, which I think is like also fine. Like I really wouldn't. I mean, I guess it depends on the person, but like. It is like whatever. Yeah. But yeah, this whole like 20% thing is I think kind of crap, especially for STEM kids. Like it's not really fair. I think with our curriculum, our classes are based on tests most of the time. And so it's like the professors are the ones really making the test and like the staff are making the test. And so if a lot of the students are doing good on them, then like awesome. Yeah, they understand the material. Yeah. Like, how are you going to cut the students who understand the material? So it just doesn't really make sense to me, I guess. So I'm hoping that it remains collaborative because obviously homework and stuff like that is a part of your overall grade. And so we collaborate on homework and there's literally a space like to put the names of your collaborators on my P-sets. And so if that changes and we're trying to compete for that A, like why are people going to help each other? Yeah. But yeah, I guess it all just depends.
Yeah, I think Harvard has a stereotype of having a lot of grade inflation. From your experience, I know since you're pre-med, but Harvard has a very diverse curriculum, and they actually kind of force you to go, like you're taking a class right now called K through 12 education.
Yeah.
So based on your experiences in different classes, not limited just to like the STEM classes, do you feel like grade inflation is real to an extent? Like is there like any validation behind that statement?
I honestly don't really know. Like, I feel like I can't really speak to it because I think a lot of the humanities professors are the ones who are really backing this up. And a lot of my friends who are more humanities focused with their studies kind of do say that it exists. Like, they're like, yeah, like, these papers are not really being graded like that fairly. I know that speaking with like my experience, a paper that I get an A on is a paper that I've worked insanely hard on, especially because writing and critical thinking in that way doesn't come so naturally to me. So I'm like going to the writing center, I'm going to my TF's office hours to like ask them for clarity. And so I think that, yeah, papers that like I will get a good grade on, I think is deserved, but I haven't seen anyone else's paper that I'm like, oh, this is not an A paper. Like, why did you get an A? So yeah, I don't really know if it exists too much. I'm not really in that like space where it's being discussed a lot.
What about in your STEM classes? What do you think?
Yeah, in my STEM classes, I really don't think so. I think they cut off the grade for an A and A minus like very fairly. And all the STEM classes I've really kind of been in so far will do the whole 90 to a 100 is either an A minus or an A, and they look at the distribution to be able to cut it off like per semester. So yeah, I would say like there's no really inflation. Like they cut it off where they cut it off, and that is what it is. Yeah, and it's based on tests. So like if a lot of your kids have 90s to a 100, like awesome, they understand the material. You did a great job teaching. Yeah.
And so far out of the classes you've taken, have you enjoyed them, like found them fulfilling? If you were to compare them to, for example, to your high school classes.
Yeah, I definitely like do. I think the STEM classes are a little bit harder to find fulfilling because it's something you have to do. But they're interesting nonetheless. Like I'm taking Orgo this year, Orgo 1 and Orgo 2, and I was terrified for Orgo. I mean, everyone is like, it's so hard. It's the hardest class you'll ever take. And it's hard. Like, I won't kind of say that it's easy, but it's interesting, and I think that's really cool. And I was even telling my roommate the other day, I was starting to kind of feel a little sick, and I usually will kind of let my illness get really bad before I actually force myself to take medicine, but I was like, no, I'm going to take Dayquil right now because I know that it's working, because we're, like, learning how, like, drugs are, like, inhibiting enzymes, and I think that's super interesting. But yeah, I'm also studying history of science, so I found a lot of my history of science courses to be super, super fulfilling. I took one last semester on the kind of history of medicine in America, just overall. And yeah, it was great, and it was super, super informative, and I think, honestly, all people wanting to go into the medical space should take some sort of class like that, because it really helps you understand the like historical foundation behind your patients, of why your patients might feel this way towards the hospital or towards doctors, why they might be a little bit hesitant towards the medical space and vaccines and different things, where I think people tend to look at like anti-vaxxers and be like, they're just anti-science, like this is like they just don't care. But if you look at the history behind it, there's history that's there and that's present and that remains kind of still here today.
Wow, that's so cool. And I know you spoke also a little bit about your experience at Harvard in the consulting club and then also dance. I would love if you could speak more about your kind of extracurricular experience and how that's shaped you at Harvard.
Yeah, I think extracurriculars at Harvard are great, and a lot of students are present in them. There's obviously, like pre-professional extracurriculars that are awesome. I'm also in the pre-med society, so that's super fun, just like volunteering things like here and there. This semester I'm doing civics, which is super fun. It's with the Institute of Politics. It's like a extracurricular where you go to elementary schools and teach a class of I'm doing 5th grade this semester, so I'm teaching a class of 5th graders about kind of the government, which is also great for me because I want to learn more about the government. And then for more fun things, dance on Harvard's campus. So I'm in Expressions, which is a hip-hop based kind of dance company. And within Expressions, I've done EXP in the past, which is like a competition subset. So that's really fun. It's very weird to go back to the competition space, but they make it very fun. And so I think in high school, towards the end of high school, I kind of started to lose my love for dance that I've had, just because I got super competitive and just kind of annoying to like, with like a lack of better terms. But I think Harvard has really kind of re-sparked that love that I used to have for it. And this semester I'm doing Eleganza, which is another really big dance show, so I'm super excited.
And we're gonna be there. I'm so excited for you.
Yes.
I feel like something that I struggle with as a Harvard student is finding the balance between classes, extracurricular activities, like speakers, just all of these events that are really exciting, And then you're also at the same time trying to make like room for like creating relationships, because sometimes people say, well, just go to Harvard for the network, or just like to meet people who are also very high achieving. How do you think, like, do you think you found a balance yet, or is that something you're still working on?
I think I've tried to find a balance. I've gotten 100% better at time management since, like, high school. Because I feel like with high school, I really didn't have to, like, manage all that much.
They block it out for you.
They block it out for you. Like, yeah, I, like, had practice in the morning, classes, cool, I would do my homework between, like, these times, and, like, awesome. And then you have the weekends to kind of hang out with your friends. But now it's like, oh, the weekends you also are doing work. Like, oh, how does that work? But yeah, I think it just varies from semester to semester and how much work I have within the classes I take. But GCal is a big tool, and I've learned how to use it efficiently. And I've learned how to kind of put in, you know, what time I have for what. And there's some days or some weeks, like this past week, I was insanely busy. Like, I had so many assignments due, I had tests, whatever. And so on weeks like that, I'll actually put into my calendar, like, blocks of time to actually do different things. So, like, from this hour to this hour, I'll study this class, then I'll study this class. I'll put in when to eat, because, like, sometimes you forget.
Yeah. But oh, I don't forget. Like, no, my priority is, like, when am I going to get food? Because I'm always hungry here. I don't know what's going on. But anyways.
Yeah. I wonder if it's just Harvard students that are so obsessed with GCals, like, and having everything to the T.
Yeah, and GCal is Google Calendar, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll tell my friends back home, and they act like they don't know, but I'm like, you can figure it out. Like, deduction. Like, come on, like, GCal. Like, yeah. What else would it be?
Yeah, or, like, I mean, people will literally send, like, GCal invites. Like, one of my blockmates, Anna...
Wait, that's me whenever I, like, with Sasha, I'm like, we're gonna eat lunch at this time.
Like, one of my blockmates, Anna, put in from, like, Tuesday from 6 to 10, like, Widener lock-in. And she just put it for every Tuesday, 6 to 10. So, like, if we want to show up, we show up. If not, we don't. But, I mean, I think it's really cool. And so, like, I have it there, just in case I want to go. Yeah.
Do you have a question off the top of your head?
No.
I'm trying to think. I guess going along that, are there any other terms that you've learned from Harvard that you feel like people wouldn't get otherwise? Because I know for me, this is not a Harvard term, but the phrase, like, coffee chat, I didn't really understand what that was. I remember, like, they'd be like, oh, schedule a coffee chat. I'm like, and I remember it was actually virtual over the summer, like, before coming in. We did a marketing boot camp together.
Did a marketing boot camp, yeah.
Yeah, so we signed up for this marketing boot camp, and the people hosting it were like, you can get a coffee chat with us, whatever. And
did you?
I did it. And I was in a different country at the time, and I told my mom, like, I have a coffee chat with this Harvard student, and she's like, are you guys getting coffee? Like, what's going on there?
No, yeah, coffee chat's a big one. I feel like a lot of the terms that are, like, used other places and not just Harvard come from, like, the business world. Like, coffee chat's really big in business. I've never heard coffee chat once used within, like, the medical world or, like, any other job.
I feel like from your background, like, or even my background, like, my parents aren't professionals. It's like, they're never,
my parents would never go coffee chat. So.
It's like, I'm having a coffee chat with Todd. I'm like, what? Like, no one's using
on
that.
Your GCal.
On the GCal. Google invite the GCal.
There's some... Do your parents use GCals?
No.
Because it's just
my mom has an agenda. Like,
okay.
Like handwritten?
Yeah. Oh, wow, yeah.
No, but it's just funny because I feel like, like, even my experience coming here, like, people's parents are in such different positions where I have a lot of friends here who's, like, both their parents met here, or, like, one of their parents came here, and they'll be like, yeah, I came here for, like, the reunion, like, I'm just, like, it's just a crazy contrast, because it felt like, for me, Harvard was, like, getting into Hogwarts. Like, I had no, like, did you tour Harvard before applying?
No. I did, like, a little East Coast tour thing with my mom my senior year spring break. So we, like, spent a few days in New York, and then we actually drove up to Boston, and we toured Brown, because I wanted to go there. Yeah.
How was that?
It was really cool. We got stuck in the middle of a flash mob.
Oh my god!
I was like,
wait, what?
Oh.
Yes, very brown of them. Like, very brown student. They're, like, super, like, happy all the time.
Happy as Ivy.
Yes, you feel like the happiest Ivy. Wait, did they flash mob you?
No. We were, like, so we went on the tour. It was fun. It was cool. Actually, looking back, like, I was trying to kind of suppress these emotions while on the tour, but I was like, I don't really like it here. Like, it's just like, it didn't feel right.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, I love it. I love it here. Yeah.
You're like, this is for me. It's brown or paler.
Literally. But yeah, we ended the tour, and then we were walking back through the main, like, yard. I don't know what they call it. And music, like, loud music started blasting. And me and my mom were like, what the heck? And then this group of kids, like, got up from their picnic blanket and just started dancing. And then another group of kids got up and started dancing. And we were like, what is going on?
Was that like confirmation, like this the place where you're like, what the heck is
I was
going
like,
on?
wow, this is really cool, but I still am like,
maybe not for me.
Yeah.
So when was your first time visiting Harvard?
My first time like moving in, or like
Oh my
for
gosh.
fun.
Wow.
Yeah, because
You didn't come for Visitas then.
I didn't know, because we went to Yale also, but we didn't have a tour, so we just kind of walked around. And then we went to Harvard, but the gates were closed. I think Johnston Gate may have been open, but there was like a sign that was like, please do not come in unless you have like a visitor tag. I think it's when the protests and things were going on. And like you could have easily walked in, but I'm a huge like rule follower.
You're like,
so
okay,
I was
I'll
like,
sit back.
no, like I like told my mom, I was like, let's not go in. So we just walked around kind of.
You were like peeking through the
gates, literally. Yeah, we just walked around the gates. It was also super cold, so I was like, I don't really want to walk for too long. But yeah, I mean, I saw Cambridge, but I never saw Harvard until move-in.
And when you were even like in the area of Cambridge, because I feel like from my experience, I don't associate with Harvard Yard itself because it's only where like a few buildings are. Like honestly, most of the things like happen outside of like Harvard Yard. But when you were around that area, did you feel like, oh, like I could see myself being here?
Honestly, yeah, which was like really weird to kind of feel, because on the Brown tour, I actually met a student who we were doing the same kind of like Ivy League hop, but we were going different directions. So he had already toured Harvard, and he was like, yeah, like I didn't really like it. But then, so I was expecting to be like, oh, I'm not going to like it, like Cambridge, whatever. But I, like, got out of the car. I was like, wow, I really kind of enjoy it, especially for it being super cold and kind of, like,
You didn't go on a nice day.
No, I didn't. But I really enjoyed it. And I think we parked, like, by the yard across from, like, the writing center. So, like, a really not pretty area.
Near the Parker Center?
I'm pretty sure.
Like where Greeno is.
Yeah, I remember either parking right there or like walking near it. But yeah,
Right.
I
So
saw
you
all
were
the
like,
sites outside of the yard.
Okay. Wow.
But I liked it. That's all I saw until I came here.
Is there anything you find peculiar about Harvard?
Like in what sense?
Like something that you find strange or like unexpected?
I mean, the social life kind of is bad, which is not so unexpected, especially coming from Texas. Like, all of my friends go to insane schools, like huge schools, like UT, A&M, where the social life is big because there's a huge student body, and also they have, like, Southern things, like Greek life. Greek life's huge in the South. And so I knew that Harvard didn't have that, and I knew that Harvard's student body was nowhere near as big, so I was expecting the social scene to be kind of worse, but I didn't expect it to be like as bad or also kind of as like elitist. I feel like Harvard and like Harvard students don't give that elite thing, but the social life at Harvard kind of does, which is weird and annoying, and the other Ivy Leagues aren't really like that. It's really just kind of us. Like, I don't know why.
Wait, can you speak more about that, like the social elite aspect of it?
I mean, we have the clubs, the final clubs, which, I mean, I guess that's where it kind of stems from. And it just stems from tradition, I would say. Like, that's my biggest guess. But I know, like, Princeton also kind of has those clubs. And I don't think they're called the same thing, but there's so many of them that it's like if you want to be in one, you're going to be in one. Yeah. Or, like, Yale has Greek life. I think Dartmouth also kind of has a Greek life-ish hybrid, and their Greek life is, like, super open to the student body. Like, one of my friends has a friend there, and she was saying she went to go visit, and they send out their, like, party invites to, like, the student email. Like, they just kind of, like, give it out.
Wait, compared to how does Harvard do it?
Oh my god, Harvard.
let's talk
yeah,
about Harvard.
It's just like Harvard is more on like a +1 basis, I guess. Like if you know people in the clubs, then you can be like +1 into a party, which I think it's like kind of elitist in a way of like if you do not know anyone, like if you're literally not in that sphere, like you kind of aren't gonna be anywhere near the social scene.
And the social scene being like where parties and events are held.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, I think, like, we know some people, so that's good. But
yeah,
other than that, yeah, but also I feel like that scene is not also, like, really for me, so I have kind of no grudge or anything against it.
What made you realize that it wasn't for you?
Yeah, I mean, everyone says that getting ready for a party is better than actually being there.
That's like the one thing
and
that
I like
stand by.
100% agree. Like, I will be excited to go to a party, and I'm getting ready. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so much fun. First 10 minutes I'm there, Amelia and I are staring at a wall.
No, we actually went to a party a few weeks ago, and Alyssa's, I was like, Alyssa, like, I won't go without you. And she's like, okay, period, same. And so at one point I was like, do you want to leave? And she's like, yeah, and we just, like, hopped out of there, like, half an hour in. But I relate to that where it's, like, I mean, even last year when I was training, I would, like, I couldn't, like, sleep super late, so I would, like, join the pregame part of it, just, like, getting ready, and then I would go to sleep and be like, okay, I had the best time.
Yeah, because you were training, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've, like, I don't know, I feel like with every party kind of recently, I'm just kind of, like, oh, this is fun for, like, the first hour, and then I'm like, okay, like, I'm kind of out. Especially because I don't really drink, and so I think when other people do, they start to, like, get kind of annoying.
Right, because you're the only person there who, like, can make sense of it all.
And they've all entered a new state.
Yeah, you're just like, I'm not in that dimension yet. So.
Yeah, and I'm, like, super big on, like, you don't have to drink to have fun, and so I feel like, yeah, I'll be having fun until they kind of start to get a little bit, like, all over the place and a little bit disheveled, and then I'm like, okay, I don't want to take care of you. So I usually just leave.
Let me go.
Yeah.
No, I totally relate to that.
Yeah, that's how I feel about the social scene. But it's fun. It's fun whenever you want it to be fun. I go, I check it out, I say hey, and then I leave.
Yeah, and then for final clubs, I feel like that's one of the things that could kind of, like, feed into the stereotype of Harvard being elitist.
I think it does.
I think, when was the first moment when you were at Harvard when you were like, oh, that checks out, like, we're at Harvard, you know, where it's like, it feeds into the stereotypes that everyone has.
Yeah, I mean, we met this person together, actually.
I don't think I was there when you met her.
Oh, really?
I think I met with you guys after, and I remember you told me about it.
Yeah, we met with someone's grandmother who
so the girl was, like, moving in, right?
Yeah, this girl was moving in, very, very, very nice girl. She was moving in, and yeah, I met her mom and I met her grandmother, and then I was talking with her grandmother about kind of what I wanted to do and extracurriculars I may or may not join, and there was, like, a mental health one that I thought was pretty cool. And she was like, oh yeah, that building's actually named after me. And I said, oh, cool.
You're like, oh, well, thank you for that generous donation.
Cool. And then I was like, oh, so did you go here? She's like, yeah. And then my daughter went here too, the mom. And I was like, oh, cool. And then she's like, yeah. And then, like, obviously her daughter's going here. So, like, triple legacy. And I was like, oh, cool, awesome.
You were like,
and so that was the first time I was kind of like, oh, this is definitely, like, a Harvard stereotype. But then she kind of beat the stereotype of, like, oh, they only get in because they're legacies, because she's, like, very smart and very, very nice. So that's really good. I think, again, it's all about the people you kind of associate yourself with, because there are probably those people who come from very well-off families and who are kind of, they act like they come from very well-off families. But, I mean, I even have some friends who, like, their parents went here, or their parents went to very, very good schools and have very good jobs, but they're, like, the most down-to-earth, kindest people I will ever meet, and if you didn't know where they're from or what their parents do, you would never guess it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I relate to that experience, because even when I remember coming back home after the first semester, and people were like, how are the, like, elitist, like, preppy students? And I was like, I didn't really find them. Like, and that's going to exist, honestly, no matter where you go, because there's going to be those types of students, like, no matter what. But
yeah,
it's like you just choose who to surround yourself by, and naturally I just gravitated to people who are, like, down to earth and just kind and hardworking.
Yeah, I honestly think, people have, like, a crazy perception that all the crazy elitist kids come here or, like, come to Ivies, but I don't know if it's just in the most, like, recent years, but a lot of them are wanting to go party it up at an SEC school.
Mm-hmm. Right, like, so not in, like, the cold Cambridge.
Literally, like, I think my friends at UT Austin honestly probably have more interactions with, like, these super, super elitist, like, kids that are kind of the embodiment of Harvard at, like, UT. Just because, like, it's a good school, they'll, like, be able to go and, like, party and have fun, and like, they can still get a really good job from it. And so I think there's actually more of them at, like, schools like that, which people don't usually assume.
Yeah.
So now that you're halfway through your college journey, or like almost halfway, I don't know, I don't want to scare you, but looking back, is there anything you wish you could tell yourself, like, on your first day here?
Yeah, I would tell myself to stop crying. I literally cried so much the first, like, week here, just because I was, like, missing home, and I was like, I don't belong here, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I still think that sometimes. The imposter syndrome is crazy, and it runs deep in everyone. Yeah. But I think I tell myself to, like, take more chances and kind of, like, take more risk with the classes I'm taking. Yeah, I mean, I even find myself sometimes, like, being like, oh, I'm going to take this class because, like, I heard it's pretty chill.
Right, like, you're like, oh, I just want to go, like, the easy route almost.
Yeah, but then I have to remind myself that, like, no, why am I wasting the time I have here? Or why am I wasting the money that my parents are, like, so graciously putting towards my education by taking the easy way out? Or even with, like, weekly readings. I mean, I have this debate with myself every time I do a weekly reading. Like, literally last night of being like, should I just, like, notebook LM this? Like, I just kind of want to get a summary. But being like, no, Alyssa, you can read 12 pages and get, like, really good in-depth information. So I would tell myself to really do that and, like, put more kind of effort in. But also tell myself that it's okay to not have everything figured out. I think I kind of always go back and forth between, like, oh, like, what classes should I take, or, like, when should I take them to be able to get my concentration done, and I always just kind of try to, like, rush things. But it's okay to not know, and it's okay to, like, sit just in the 24 hours you have in a day and be able to just be present in the ones when you're awake, and just kind of, like, soak it all in and soak in, like, what everyone has to say and what your professors have to say, because you're going to learn so much from them. I went to a talk recently at the business school, and I was, like, volunteering there, and this guy was talking, and he works for Blackstone, I think. And so I was like, oh, I don't really want to go to the talk. Like, I don't really gaff.
You're like, I don't like finance anymore. I'm done.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, like, he's going to be saying all these, like, venture capital, investment banking, and I'm just going to be like, what? Yeah. Like, I don't understand what that means. But the volunteer coordinator was like, no, go. Like, you'll really enjoy it. Like, I've been to one of his talks before, and he doesn't really talk about finance. And so I was like, okay. So I went, and he was just kind of talking about his, like, values and his drive and what got him to where he is today. And he said something, he kind of put this story in place of, he was always the younger brother who would wait to cross the street. So, like, you know, whenever you're crossing the street and, like, the sign says to stop, but, like, there's not really any cars coming, so you just go. I guess he would always say that he would wait until he got, like, the green light to walk. And his brother and his brother's friends would be like, dude, like, why did you wait? Like, you could have just came. And he was like, well, I would rather wait 30 seconds than, like, risk getting hit by a random car that's coming flying through. And all that to say, he kind of put this analogy forward of, like, you don't have to be the fastest one. Like, you just have to take your own path. And I think that especially speaks a lot to me because I'm, like, this whole debate of, like, oh, should I take a gap year before medical school? Or, like, how many gap years should I take? Oh, but then my friends will be ahead of me. Like, they'll be M2s when I'm an M1. And, like, oh, this. But, like, it doesn't matter. And so just telling myself that to, like, take it slow.
No, I deeply resonate with that. Yeah. I think, personally, I've actually dealt with a lot of anxiety the past year. And it's because in my mind, I'm, like, never present. I'm just always thinking about the choices I made, what I'm doing wrong, what's not going well, and trying to map out my life, or even feeling like I don't have enough time.
Yeah. We were talking just before actually filming this about the actor who passed away recently from ALS, and I watched the video that he left to his daughters, and he said something very similar to that of, like, you have so little time on this earth, and he's realized with going through the illness that he was going through was, like, he spent so much of it in his head, like in his own head, but to be more present. And I definitely think that resonated with me of like, wow, yeah, I do spend a lot of time just with my own thoughts.
Yeah, I think there's times even at Harvard where I think, okay, I just have to make it through the end of this week, and then it's spring break. Like, I'm always trying to cut, even to this morning, I was thinking, in a month's time, it'll be the end of spring break, and then in a month's time, it'll be finals, and then I'll be done with this year, like, thank God. Yeah. But then I realized that's why, like, one of my priorities this semester was just spend more time with friends. I think maybe you've noticed it, because I've actually showed up sometimes. I've, like, texted Alyssa, like, can we grab dinner together, you know, because I realized I would, like, even looking back at my high school experience, I can't remember a single test I took, a single grade I've got, but I can remember, like, the friends that I've had, the connections I've made.
Like, the hangouts, yeah.
Right, and I think even at Harvard, there's so many, like, ambitious people that I just want to, like, have in my circle. Like, even the actor in his, like, message, he was saying, your friends matter so much. And I'm like, I'm at Harvard. I could find the best people to be friends with. Not in the networking way. They're going to get me here. But it's, like, I want to be around people who are hardworking in their own ways. Whether it's, like, the pre-med track, whether they want to go into, like, the film world, whatever. I just think it's definitely, like, I've had to, like, reframe my experience, like, my... and then also... because I feel like the media, everyone I see is like, oh, how I built this by this age, how I, like... Yeah. It's like, I was talking about it with someone, and they were like, yeah, but you're only 20. And in my mind, I'm thinking, wait, I'm 20. I'm 20. Yeah. Like,
but then I'll see people talking about 20-year-olds, and they're like, oh my God, they're like little babies. And I'm like, no, I'm literally ancient. Yeah. Like, I am
I've expired.
Like, no, it's crazy. But yeah, I go through that too of like, just like, okay, how many more times do I have to do this to get to the next week? Or I'm like already counting down the amount of sections. I'm like, whoo, we're in the single digits. Like, no more double digits. But then you're like kind of like contradicting yourself in your own mind, because I do that of like, okay, how much, you know, more days or more classes do I have until this break? But then within the same thought, I'm like, I'm already almost halfway through. Like, time needs to slow down. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
And if you could speak to one viewer watching this podcast, who do you think you would want to hear this message? Ooh. And what message would you leave with them as well? As we start wrapping up the first episode.
Yes. I mean, probably the kid I was in high school, like the high achieving but average kid who kind of feels like they're doing the most, but like it's still like not enough. Yeah, I mean, I think I'd probably just leave the same message that I would leave with my freshman year self, or, like, that I would kind of leave with my high school self, to just take it slow, and, like, it is literally okay. Like, you're 16, 17, 18 years old. Like, that seems so old, and that seems like such a burden at the moment. But, like, it's not. And in 3 years' time, when I'm done with Harvard and when I'm, I don't know, applying to medical school or in something like that, I'm going to be saying the same thing to my 20-year-old self of, like, you think it's so much and, like, you're holding on to so much weight, but, like, it's literally not, and, like, nothing's that serious. And, yeah, I think if everything I do in life can kind of be done with the intent of, like, nothing's that serious, I think I would be a lot happier. Because, again, like, I mean, yeah, going back to my Harvard interview, or my Harvard application in general, like, I literally was just kind of like, oh, for fun. Like, it's not that serious. I'm not going to get in. Yeah, my interview, too. I literally did it in, like, our band closet because my dance teacher, like, let me in because I was like, crap, I forgot.
And you're like, oh, it's starting in T-minus 5 minutes. Can I just crash
literally, and, like, I forgot to pack, like, a nice blouse, so I was in my high school scrubs that I wore for my medical assisting program.
You probably look like a baddie, though. You were like,
yeah, I was like,
I'm just like in the middle of the shift, like, but I'm taking time for this call.
Yeah, and, like, it was just so chill, and I was just so vulnerable and open. Like, I told him about how I kind of, like, he was like, oh, tell me about, you know, student body president, and I could have been like, oh, I'm doing this and this and this, but I was like, oh, actually, funny story, I actually got here because I ran against this random person. I, like, told him, like, the story behind it. But, yeah, I guess just that nothing is that serious, and just, like, take it one day at a time. Which is also advice I'm telling myself as I speak it. I'm, like, trying to
make
it come back
manifesting it.
I think we all need that at Harvard, though, taking stuff slow.
Whenever I, like, talk to people or, like, I mean, sometimes we'll be, like, at, I don't know, like a family thing. Or like if my mom or my parents are ever around me and like someone asks me like about Harvard, and I'm like, yeah, just take it slow, or I'm giving someone advice, my mom was like, okay, now you need to listen to it. And and I definitely need to,
Yeah.
Wait, thank you for leaving us on that note, because I like full-heartedly relate to that. It was such a pleasure having you here.
Yes, it was so fun.
Yeah, and I'm so happy that you get to be featured as like the first guest.
Yes.
Wait,
We're
me
so
too.
excited.
I feel so honored.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Thank you so much,
Alyssa.
Alyssa.
Yeah, of course.
Bye.
Bye.